In recent years, China has made a series of remarkable achievements in the field of cross-sea bridge construction. For example, the Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macau Bridge was completed in 2018. However, just as the world is admiring China's infrastructure strength, China's infrastructure projects have been snatched away by other countries. It is unbelievable that just 3 days after Japan completed the order for the $700 million cross-sea bridge, the sea crossing bridge collapsed. What's even more incredible is that Vietnam did not ask Japan for any compensation, but instead asked China for compensation of up to 100 million yuan. This made us very curious. As a country of craftsmen, how could the cross-sea bridge built by Japan collapse so easily, and why does Vietnam ask China? Where you will be able to learn about projects, cooperation around the world, and important information about China. Subscribe to us and discover more interesting events around the world. Over the past 20 years, Vietnam has risen at the fastest pace in the world, except China, and its economy has continued to grow vigorously. Unfortunately, however, Vietnam lacks deepwater ports, which limits the rapid growth of its import and export trade volume. In order to promote maritime trade in 2014, Vietnam decided to build a bridge across the sea. According to the investigation, this sea crossing bridge is called the Xin Woolley County Sea Crossing Bridge. Its starting point is located at the Sin Vu interchange of the Hanoi-Haiphong Expressway, and its endpoint is the international port of Let County, Cat Hai Island, Haiphong City, with a total length of about 15 kilometers and a total investment of $700 million. This majestic bridge is one of the most ambitious infrastructure projects in Vietnam in recent years. Since 2014, the construction of the Xin Woolley County Cross-Sea Bridge has started. According to the plan, the bridge will be completed in 2017. Once completed, Vietnam's exports are expected to increase by $100 billion. Regrettably, although the prospect of this cross-sea bridge is very good, Vietnam itself does not have the ability to independently build such infrastructure. Therefore, Vietnam decided to seek help internationally. In recent years, China's manufacturing strength has been increasing, leading the international arena, and many famous infrastructure projects have been undertaken by China. Even superpowers like the United States have turned to China for help in repairing their Bay Bridge. Therefore, China has naturally become Vietnam's preferred partner. Faced with this opportunity, China will certainly not refuse. After all, once the bridge is completed, it will further expand China's influence in the construction industry. Therefore, after several discussions, the two parties decided to sign a contract to jointly promote the implementation of this project. However, just as the project was about to start, there was sudden Japanese intervention. It is understood that there is not much difference between Japan and China in infrastructure construction. Now that Vietnam and China have almost reached the terms of cooperation, it will be difficult for Japan to win this order from China if it follows the normal path of competition. So Japan came up with a strategy. In the final pricing stage, Japan directly proposed a very low price to Vietnam and added many attractive conditions, such as providing an interest-free loan of more than $600 million for Vietnam to gradually repay. It should be noted that the total investment of the entire project is only $700 million, while the more than $600 million provided by Japan almost accounts for most of the total project amount. In other words, Vietnam only needs tens of millions of dollars to complete the construction of the bridge. It is a joy for Vietnam to be able to save such a huge amount of money. Therefore, they are naturally more inclined to choose Japan as a partner, not only tore up the contract with China, but also handed over the project to Japan for construction. After Japan successfully bid and made preparations, they started the construction of the bridge. However, when the bridge construction was 94% complete, Vietnam's Quality Inspection Department found some quality problems during the acceptance process. For example, the flatness of some road surfaces does not meet the standard, the joints of bridge decks are not perfect, and some asphalt road surfaces are loose. As we all know, almost no road surface can claim that its smoothness is 100% in line with the standard. Therefore, within a certain range of error is allowed. For example, China's standard is that the height difference should not exceed 5 millimeters within every 3 meters, meaning that as long as it is difficult to detect with the naked eye and does not affect the driving experience, safety, and lateral drainage, it can pass the acceptance test. However, What is surprising is that 3 days after the bridge was open to traffic, the bridgehead of the bridge sank. This problem is very serious. If it cannot be repaired in time, it will not only have a great impact on the service life of the bridge, but may also bring potential safety hazards. Therefore, people are curious about why the bridge suddenly sank. As the main designer and contractor of the bridge, people first suspected the Japanese side. Some people speculate that it may be because they did not conduct sufficient research on the local geological conditions in advance and lack experience in building bridges on similar terrain, so they did not take the roadbed into consideration when designing or when surveying the terrain. There is a difference between the sampling and the actual geology, which leads to the problem of bridgehead sinking. Others see the problem as Vietnam itself. According to the relevant domestic laws and regulations of Vietnam, all domestic construction projects must use domestic workers, and foreigners are not allowed to contract. Although the project was contracted by Japan, the actual construction personnel were native Vietnamese. Therefore, if there is a problem with the bridge, Vietnam itself should also bear the responsibility. In addition, relevant sources pointed out that Vietnamese government officials often interfered too much when building the project. Regardless of the cause, addressing the effects of subsidence and preventing further subsidence are the most important tasks. In fact, this is not the only problem with the Japanese-aided bridges in Vietnam. For example, the Can Tho Bridge collapsed in 2007, one of the worst bridge collapses in Vietnamese history. Surprisingly, the Shin Woolley County Cross-Sea Bridge was obviously built by Japan. Now that there is a problem with the bridge, Vietnam does not go to Japan to find a solution but instead asks China to compensate 100 million yuan. This makes us very curious. What is going on? It is understood that during the construction of the bridge, there was a problem. When Vietnam went to check at that time, it was found that there were many potholes on the bridge surface and there was sinking. In order to avoid further deterioration of the problem, they turned to China for help. So China sent engineers to check it out. After the engineering personnel arrived at the scene, they found that the quality of the construction materials used in the bridge was uneven, mixed with many defective materials that did not meet the standards, and there were great potential safety hazards. China suggested that Vietnam replace these materials and rehabilitate the previously built parts. However, Vietnam is not willing to accept China's proposal. In desperation, China provided a set of restoration plans and reminded Vietnam that good foundation treatment must be done to avoid problems. At the same time, China also reminded them that due to unqualified materials, even if the bridge is repaired and open to traffic flow needs to be controlled to avoid problems again. After the repair of the bridge was completed, Vietnam seemed to have forgotten China's reminder. In order to pursue economic interests, they not only failed to control the traffic flow, but also encouraged more vehicles to pass. So it didn't take long for the problem to reoccur. Afterwards, Vietnam itself felt wronged, so it dared not tell the truth to the people. However, people in Vietnam mistakenly believed that the problem with the bridge was due to China's opinion, so they blamed China for the sinking of the bridge. Many people went to the Chinese embassy to demand compensation, and some even asked China to help them build a bridge for free. It wasn't until the truth was revealed that people in Vietnam realized that China was wrongly blamed and turned to Japan for compensation. This video ends here. What do you think of Vietnam's approach? How do you view China? Welcome to leave a message in the comment area to share your thoughts and feelings. If you like the content of this issue, please recommend it to your friends so that more people can see this video. Thank you for watching and supporting. See you next time.